And that's why the No Kings protests are the worst idea in history.
God damn it, Ken.
I mean, honestly, not that. Yeah.
Welcome back to the Storytime Network. We are here to play some more D&D. Yeah, it's been like a month. I
think we need a recap.
We haven't left Glavnaya yet, if I remember correctly.
Well, last left our heroes: Dairon the Genasi Rogue, Felix the Ledrin Painter, Aldane the Half-Elf Paladin, and Seamus the Half-Elf Bard. Since this act has started, you've been travelling since the Ebony Imperium heading northward, doing many such things as the Temple of Gembu, hanging out in Rainwall for a bit, catching up with some NPCs. You then headed upwards and dealt with things such as the Starspawn, which was a fun fight.
I think we still all have collective trauma from that.
Whilst travelling with Keren, Prody, and Rua. Once you arrived in Tennoyama, however, Keren left the group to keep an eye on the orphanage that Akra runs. From there, you decided you would go to Yuto to deal with the trial for Seamus at the Zenith Peak, during which Seamus was given a conversation by the Suzaku, telling him that if he was to complete his trial, Hayato would actually die, as he had been revived previously. Thankfully, that was a lie. Mostly just to test Seamus' resolve.
Son of a peach.
And Seamus passed his trial with flying colours. With 2 out of the 4 trials to go, you then decided you would head to the crossroads and then to Glavnaya to deal with the Frostfang orcs, to get them on your side to see if they will help you liberate Centralis, and also to see if they would know where the Temple of the Byakko is to help your search. During the time, you've also found out via things like contact of a plane and various sendings that Oryx is currently held captive by the Cult of the Tarask, having offered himself to protect Bovetment. Tora, Leon, and a few others are currently on the run in Centralis, and Oriana seems to be currently held captive by the cult. The same cult that Zaris has seemingly joined, and may or may not have undergone Taraskification. There also seems to be a near impenetrable layer of thorns that are preventing the cult from trying to access from the off-road sections of the areas north through Centralis. Via contact of the planes, you found out that the person known as Flora Vela, a very familiar name, seems to be the culprit.
Mm-hmm.
Whether this is the one you know or someone that shares the same name, you don't know. However, right now, you are currently waiting for the sorting out of the what's it called? Like the actual traveling routes to get to the Frostfang Mountains from Glavnaya, as this is extremely hostile. And you know, they want to make sure that you guys are being given the best support they can offer. Of course.
Mm-hmm.
So, where is it now? Um. Oh, I think I. Oh, yeah, I just realised I hadn't looped my music. So, I'm going to say you're kind of like at the moment part way into the waiting for the supplies and other provisions that they plan to give you for the trek to the Frostfang Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
During which you would have been asked if you could help them with like jobs and work around the city. Nothing too intense. Most of it's just stuff like, especially because Aldane and Seamus have healing spells. Those two in particular would have been asked for stuff like helping with the hospitals and also clinics in the area. Dyron would have mostly been asked because of their... Dyra and Rua, sorry. Because of their mobility, would have been asked to do sort of courier work, like traveling, like, delivering light packages and letters around.
I could also see us doing scouting.
Honestly, they don't really need scouting help. Most of it is just jobs within the city that aren't too bad. It's also mostly just to sort of help you get acclimated to the temperatures. Felix would have been asked for what would it have been? Because I actually wrote a list of the jobs he would have been asked to do. Here we go. Felix would have actually been asked if he could help do some artwork for some of the schools in the area. Just as, commission work.
Yeah.
Seamus would have also been asked if he could help, like, using his music to help cheer people up.
Oh, of course.
And Aldane and Prody, being the physically strongest members, would have also been asked for stuff like some physical labour here and there, where possible. If you could all... Actually, let me check. If you could all give me 2 d20s, just normal d20s, and this will decide the quality of your work. These two that I'm going to be...
As in 2 separate d20s or 2
Yes.
d20? 2 separate d20s.
This first set is going to be Rua's rolls.
Oof.
That's not a good one.
I was so close to a 20.
There we
with
go.
that
That's
too.
a little bit better.
This second set is going to be Prody's rolls. So, we'll start from top to bottom. Felix, you have... you really struggled with... you find yourself struggling quite a bit with the work they wanted you to do.
Mm-hmm.
Partly because of the weather and just like you found yourself struggling for actual inspiration or creative muse. Ultimately, you're only able to get one of the requests done.
Mm-hmm.
So you gain... It's actually a pretty nice roll. You gain 16 silver for your work. Rua would have done pretty well. I mean, he was on the upper curve of rolls, even though the curve was pretty bad.
Yeah.
You got your bad rolls out the way, it's fine. What would he get? Rua ended up getting 3 gold for his work. I'll put that on his character sheet. Let's see who is next. Aldane. You did pretty well, considering, because this is mostly an average that you're being scored on. You got 4 gold pieces for your work.
Yay!
Seamus, you struggled at first, but you picked things up pretty quickly. You did pretty well. You got 5 gold pieces for your work.
5
Dyron,
gold pieces? That's like 5 gold pieces.
I mean, in actual... See, D&D's weird, because once you start getting crazy amounts of money, 5 gold is easy to... It's hard to forget. It's hard to remember that 5 gold actually would let you live pretty comfortably for a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we are bonkers rich.
Yeah.
Such as life
Only a
of
little bit of
successful
it is stolen.
adventurers.
Dyron, some people might say stolen. I would say reappropriated.
Repossessed.
Confiscated from disreputable types.
Dyron, you did some pretty good work as well. You found yourself earning 3 gold. And Prody did okay. He gets where is it now? I nearly gave Prody Electrum. That would have been crazy. Prody gets 13 gold.
What, you mean the most used currency in D&D?
Truly.
I've seen people use Electrum to, like, for other things. I can't even remember what I've seen people use Electrum as an example of. But no one uses it because it's not got the same 2 1-to-1 sort of ratio as gold and of everything else does. So during the time you've been working, you've been getting status updates from Guy, mostly just letting you know things are continuing to be okay. A lot of it you're being told is mostly just that, like they're getting the people of Black Rain are getting used to sort of the presence of the Cordis soldiers. Charity's helping smooth things over as the current acting leader of the country.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, things are pretty all right considering what happened over there. During this time, Dyron, you actually get ascending.
Oh no, okay.
22. There we go. I want you to guess who this could be from. Before I say who it is.
Do I get a hint?
This person has a very particular way of speaking.
What's his fucking name?
Rob?
Torrent.
Yeah.
Well, oh,
I didn't even see the sending, and I knew that.
Well, I haven't either.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's in DMs.
Well, I'm waiting for it to come through. Oh, there it is. I think I just... Am I... Where are we all right now?
I'd like to think you would just be like in the middle of work right now when you get this sending.
I want... Like, I imagine I'm jumping, like, between buildings.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm mid-jump as I get this sending, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I, like, almost fall.
Yeah.
I just...
You nearly have to burn levitate to not fall off. I'll post in the Roll20 chat exactly what was said. Oh, I didn't mean to add. I hate when Discord lets you copy the whole box and then it's like, we're also going to include who it's from or to, as if like...
Fucking course he would do that. I missed Torrance.
Well, it sounds like he's doing well. Sort of. He's at least free to send a sending, which, you know, is better than some people.
Like who?
Oryx.
I mean, technically... I mean, yeah, because Oryx can't really send a sending. He can just reply to them. Right? Or is he even sending them? I can't remember anymore.
Who's eating into the mic?
Might be me. I don't know.
I can hear mouth noises. I think it's you, Jack. It's alright.
Sorry.
It's okay. I was just like, who is that?
Oh, no. What?
And then I just kind of finish off my, like, latest task. And then... She's like, God fucking damn it, Torrent. I'm gonna kill him. For the class. I'm very annoyed. Like, you little shit.
There we go.
What does that... Oh. I think, like, Gyro just, like, is, like... It's, like... It's about to scream, what does that even mean? And just, like, stops with her hands, like, in front of her face, like... It's like, deep breath, deep breath.
This is what he sent. This is what he said in a follow-up.
Well, at least he's doing something. And by doing something, I mean staying out of trouble.
I mean, I'm not sure if Torrent knows the meaning of staying out of trouble, but yeah. He's not currently involved in the fighting.
Yes, that's what's most important right now.
I'm guessing you tell this to us, Darren, when we meet back up at
Yes.
the end of our work
I'm
day.
mostly gesticulating angrily as I do it.
Dairon, you okay over there?
I'm going to kill him.
That doesn't narrow it down. Who are you going to kill specifically?
Yeah, you want to kill a lot of people.
What race is Torrent? Is he a Genasi?
What's a Genasi?
I'm gonna kill that Genasi.
Oh, Torrent. Okay. He sent you a sending, I assume?
Yes!
Oh, it was an aggravating sending. Okay.
And then I just relay the message word for word because I'm so angry about it.
Oh, that's Torrent for you. I would be also pissed off if I got that in the middle of work.
I was in the middle of... I was mid-jump.
God, that could not have made the landing easy.
No, I almost broke my face. I had to burn levitate.
Well, at least you didn't break your face.
Yeah, well, you exist, so...
Thank you?
You would have healed it, is what I mean.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a lot less hurtful.
It'd be definitely good if you didn't break your face. I like your face, Darren. When it's,
Thank
you know,
you.
not changing every day.
There we go.
What? Okay, I like to assume that I'm getting this as Felix says that. What the fuck is a giraffe?
I vaguely recall seeing in one of those old tomes about it being something that lives in like semi-tropical areas. I don't know. I don't know that. What the hell
Would
is
I know what a
semi-tropical?
giraffe is?
Give me a nature check.
Can we all make nature checks?
Yeah.
Aldean rolled surprisingly high for someone with a 0 modifier.
Seamus, last time you remember hearing anything about a giraffe, you saw one in Eben's lair. It was part of the ritual materials, if you recall.
That's depressing.
Its corpse was there among the statues and everything.
So it was.
That's depressing.
Behind the curtain, it's actually not. It's based on the myth that the Kirin spawned from the giraffe.
Hmm.
I mean, to be fair, people thought elephants were cyclopses.
The rest of you know what a giraffe is. It's a long-necked herbivore
Did
that.
he mean to say giraffe?
Yeah, this is what he said to Daira.
I'm going to murder a Genasi, and it's going to feel so good.
Rima interjects and says, when he's saying a giraffe, he probably means having a laugh.
Oh, I figured. I'm going to murder him, though.
Okay, just remind me to have a Revivify stone on hand so that, we don't have you on the books for murdering a head of state.
I mean,
Again.
yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like I've got quite a few.
I know. That's why I said again.
It's gonna be fun when we meet up with Queen Tiddlywinks.
Ah, boy.
Well, yeah, you can reply to that if you want, but it's like, he's saying there's no rush or anything, so it's not like you necessarily need to. He's not like asking you a question or anything. For your own sanity, you could just end this conversation by not bothering to reply.
I'm kind of surprised he didn't try to contact us earlier out of boredom.
I mean, he forgot to begin with, so who knows?
I forgot.
You forgot?
He's also
forgot.
on the other side of the he's on the other side of the continent right now.
Mhm.
There's not much he can do.
Besides twiddling his fucking thumbs?
Yeah, and he's probably having parties or some shit. Who knows?
He is absolutely partying. The man's a party animal.
So, after that funny little interjection, that funny distraction, during this time, as you're sort of talking to each other, catching up with after work stuff, one of the bugbears that has a very similar vibe, not vibe, but looks similar to Drik appears. He's the only boy from the three that you've met so far that looks similar to him. He's also what's the word? He's also the shortest of the three that you've met, and he basically says to you, Drik would like to speak to you if you have the time.
I think we have time.
Yeah, I think so. Unless Torrent sends you something again.
I hate him. I'm going to
This is the thing he's. Bearing in mind, a Pearl of Power is a 1-use item that gives him up to a level 3 spell slot to use.
This man is fucking unhinged.
Out of character, I love it. In character, I'm going to kill him.
So, I would say, unless you want to say anything else, you could compose your sending while you're on the walk back. I
guess I just whoever wants to send the sending back and do it. Just I'll be the one to relay it. It'll just get through me.
I'll burn a spell slot for it.
I mean, you could just say what you want to say to Torrent, and then Darren can just say from Seamus.
Yeah.
So, as you head back to the building that you've been having your strategy meetings with the people of Glavnaya, you see Drik currently on his own. He is. Let me just check the exact thing. He is currently in the middle of playing with a knife.
A knife.
Let me check the actual one.
No!
It is a rather long thrusting dagger. Darren, you would know because you're used to knives. He's playing with a Drik dagger. I'll post it in the general chat of the Discord for the sake of what it would vaguely look like. But it's that kind of dagger anyway. You notice there's like a lot of dried blood on the blade. Like it doesn't seem to be a dagger he's out of like use as a weapon. It seems to be something that he's just looking at as sort of like the room that he's in is softly illuminated by the fireplace that's in the room to keep it warm.
He's not doing the knife trick.
He's mostly just looking at the knife. He doesn't seem to be even doing like playing with it or doing anything like that or even sharpening it. It's just a dagger that seems to have like long since dried blood on the blade.
I'm a good tracker, but I'm not good enough to know blood type.
Oh god! You just watch his Drik like jolts and nearly drops the knife.
Better than stabbing himself with it, I guess.
Oh, sorry, I was lost in thoughts. The young bugbear gives a polite bow and hastily leaves.
Have we gotten any of their names, by the way?
They've not said their names to you.
We should really start asking things.
I mean, you also need to stop just necessarily taking everything at face value, but... but yes. As Drik basically places the weapon on the table that he's near, he looks at you and just says, "We will be sending you to head out as soon as we can now. The only reason we won't be doing it today is purely because by the time you would get there, it would be too dark. Way earlier than we would like for you when it comes to heading there. Based on our experience with traveling the route that we intend to lead you on, the parts where it should be, based on your journey and where along the journey it will become night, we have done our best to arrange for safe areas where you should be able to camp out at. If you were to go today, you wouldn't be able to reach those in a good enough time where it would be too dark and dangerous for us to just send you off right away.
Mm.
I would also like to thank you for your help with doing some of the jobs you've been asked to do. We thought we would do our best to help keep you busy. And of course, you can earn a bit of money. For now, though, you can take the rest of the day off and relax. We would like you to be at your best strength when you get there. I also assume you've received sendings from Torrent. He did message me. He sent me a sending earlier to ask if you were where you were.
Is the Gyro just points at the throbbing blood vessel?
I take it he's sent messages to you then.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. I was just making sure. I don't intend to pry or ask what the contents were of what he asked or said to you. I can hazard a guess.
He was bored.
I mean, he is on the other side of the continent with very little to do. His navy can't come over because, well, he doesn't want his people being attacked. And even if his soldiers could land on the port, there's not really much they could do then. They'd be in a horrible position to, attack.
Honestly, what we could ask, and this is worth bringing up next time we get a chance, now that I've had a chance to calm down, is having him contact Dragon's Throne on our behalf so that we can get an easy shot of the Temple of Syria.
Yeah, I mean, that is something we could do. I'll arrange for that.
As
To
well
my
as
knowledge, though,
getting into
because
contact with some of my old contacts in Bovetman.
I will say, however, we have actually been sorting that out anyway. According to the royal family, they actually received a vision. They were asked to actually not inform you where the exact location of the temple is. Apparently, it is part of the trial that you, Daron, are supposed to be on.
That actually makes a lot of sense. I'm not even mad. That actually is quite... Yeah, no, that makes total sense.
Are we still allowed like a general idea, or do we have to search the whole country?
I mean, from what everyone has gathered, and from what you have also said in the past of sharing this info, it is to the top northernmost section of Siltanok. The exact where is, again, the unknown.
And is my response. And is, yep.
But that's for another time. For now, though, you have another temple to locate and some orcs to convene with. Is there anything you would like to know before you eventually go on this journey? Because it will be a while before you can come back.
Assuming that we can... The other thing that I would ask maybe is establishing contacts with some of my old contacts back in Bovetman.
I mean, from what I know, Throne on his departure caused a lot of problems, and the criminal side of the country is currently in a lot of turmoil.
Right. That's what I mean. That's why I'm kind of worried. I want at least some of our people contacting at least the ones that still survive.
I mean, I am talking to a couple of people, but as it stands, let me check my file again so I don't give you the wrong information, Dairon.
No, 100%. I entirely understand.
He is flicking through a dossier, and so as it stands, the denim sabers are completely gone. The number of people that have survived from that group can be counted on a single hand, with fingers to spare. The Jade Jewelers are also extremely thinned out. There is only really the gang you came from, the Cold Heart, that has even a sizable fraction of their groups, of their members. I personally wouldn't be surprised if all the groups eventually merge by the end of the decade. Just to have some form of continuation, if they aren't ultimately absorbed into some other group that wants to take advantage of the power vacuum. Absorbed or taken down. Or who knows, maybe you could decide to lead the gangs. That was a joke.
I don't know. I think Darren would be very good at leading a gang.
Well,
I mean,
For
they're
now.
sort of a leader of our little gang. That's the same thing, right?
I'm not. I truly am not. Please don't do that to me.
yeah, if anything, it's Seamus, Brewer says.
If anything, it's Aldane.
Wait, what? What do I? What?
The perfect response from a leader. Thank you, Aldane. You're a credit to us all. Brewer, like, jokingly claps, but because he has a metal hand, it's just...
Clank, clank, clank.
Well, it's flesh slapping against metal. Drik smiles a little and just... He glances down back at the dagger. If you want, you can give an insight as he looks at the dagger to gain... to glean what he... Also, just to look back when you walked in on him. Does anyone else want to? Rua is. Aldane?
I'm not
Uh,
well because nobody else likes to do insight.
Fucking
Ooh,
what?
My insight's actually
What the?
Seamus, Dylan, are you okay?
What the hell happened to your
Big-
voice, dude?
Did you
Wait,
use,
what-
like,
what?
voice mod?
No, what?
You
Did
sounded
anyone
like
else hear that?
you sounded like you'd taken some helium.
Yeah.
Yes, There's a reason I jumped off because I was like, "Am I fucking going nuts?"
No, he sounded helium-esque.
Yeah, that's why I asked
I
you
wonder
to
if that
use
was
voice
my
mod.
microphone glitching or something. I don't know. If
I mean,
so,
the
that's a
quality-
hilarious glitch. If that's what you
the
guys heard.
I mean, the quality did also significantly drop. But yeah,
is
that
it
was
still kind of bad right now?
You find completely clear now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh,
that
okay.
was so weird.
I was gonna say it might have been because I just turned on this AC unit in the room I'm in because
No,
it's getting really hot in here.
I mean, we can't hear the AC unit, so that's fine anyway. But yeah, no problem.
That's good.
So what was I saying? Yeah. So, Felix, he's looking at a dagger. He should really clean it. Aldane, Seamus, and Dairon. Just based on the clearly dried blood of the dagger, it seems to carry a lot of significance to him in the sense of like it clearly has. It feels wrong to almost say sentimental value. It seems to be an item that carries a lot of baggage. Drik eventually, after a couple, it's only like a couple of seconds long, but it definitely feels like a bit. He looks.
So
at the
does
dagger
Drake have like an old friend named Ozzy or something?
No,
Damn.
shut up. Get out.
Hey, you understood my reference.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, Drik just says, if you've been wondering why those three other bugbears look similar to me, you know how I was heavily involved in the liberation of Kolodniapol, yes?
It's been mentioned.
Well, when I was a kid, I had two older sisters and a mother. We were very much touching the poverty line in the country. It was at a point where we were very much struggling to get by, and it was only through the generosity of the community I was in that we were able to survive. My dad was worked to death as part of the regime at the time, so it was just my mother and my two older sisters that looked after me. Eventually, some soldiers, some people rather, came who were part of the Chancellor's faction. They took my mother and sister away, and it was up to me then to look after myself. I'd already learned how to cook from my family, so I was self-sufficient enough. And because I wanted to contribute more anyway, I was doing some jobs here and there to make a bit of money. And again, thankfully, my community was generous enough to, not let me starve. Little did I know, however, that was the last time I would ever see my mother and sisters. It was about, and he takes a moment, nearly a year before some soldiers came back, and all I had for my trouble was 2 nieces and a little brother. And as he says those words, he, clenches his jaw, and you can see he is gripping the table hard enough that it's beginning to shake.
If
Not
this is
a lot, but
painful, if this
it's
is
fine.
painful,
This dagger was then used on those same soldiers that took my family away. I chose not to clean the blood as a reminder of not only the rage that I felt from that day onwards, but as a symbol of what I wanted to do. From then on, I joined the resistance and, well, now I help lead this country. I am not happy with what happened to my family. But I guess in a very morbid sense, the one thing I can say is that what's happened led to me not being alone again, and also that my home is now free of the oppression that it had long since suffered under. This is why that Hawk doing what he did, killing a dear friend of mine and running away, refusing to properly accept the consequences, hurts like it does. But it's not really your problem. Again, if you can't necessarily find him at all, or even have to bring him back dead, I would understand. All I really want is that we can live in peace. Not just the people of Kolodniapol, but everywhere. I know it is a naive idea to believe that there could be a world where people don't have to suffer. But I would like to think that at least it's an ideal worth believing in.
I mean, I'd definitely rather, try and get to a world like that than, less good world. If we don't fully succeed, we'll at least be trying to make things better.
Of course. My main goal right now, though, is to make sure that this country can last even if I was to pass. And thankfully, I have 3 family members that are currently being trained to handle such a thing. I don't want one person to be in charge of this country. And again, I don't want my passing to mean that this country would fall. If me dying means that this country falls into chaos, then ultimately, I did a terrible job of what I wanted to do. But I don't plan on dying anytime soon. I still have plenty of work left in me. And there's also an ally of mine that needs being liberated. And he gives you quite a friendly smile. I'm sorry to unload on you like that, but I hope you can at least see some of what I'm fighting for.
You aren't the first world leader to give us your backstory, and I'm sure you won't be the last.
Torrance has been telling me he's been itching to tell you his past.
Oh boy. What kind of tragic backstory shaped someone like Torrent?
Are we sure it's tragic?
Been from a good family. Maybe he's just a middle child.
You say that as if it would make things different from... Yeah. Anyways.
We many of us had a talk after you all were taken away in that portal, and we came to the realization that we don't want you to be the only ones doing something to help this world. We all want to be more active and participate more. Of course, you know, you had the protection of the gods on your side to help you against the corruptive effects of those Dracolich fragments. Thankfully, that isn't a factor anymore. So we now have the opportunity to be more directly involved. But for now, while the world is like it is, and while you guys are thankfully back to help move things forward, you guys can do what you need to do, and we'll do what we need to do. And then, once we've all got our pieces in play, hopefully, we'll be able to not only liberate Cordis, but also make sure that this cult never gets the chance to pull anything like this again. For what it's worth, I don't mind humans. I mean, Hawk is a human, and thankfully we were one of the least negatively impacted countries when it came to the humans' oppression. We still were definitely under the thumb of humans, but not as bad as some other countries were. But I also know that ultimately, whatever happens, happens. If the cult is completely wiped out, okay. If something good happens and maybe humans can integrate back into society, then great.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think every human still left is a member of the cult of the Tarrasque. Just, you know, a significant portion of them.
The unfortunate thing is that I haven't seen a collection of humans that aren't part of the cult or adjacent to the cult. It doesn't help that, unfortunately, you know, if you need to find shelter and safety, you would generally search for people like yourself in the biggest congregation you can. You know, safety, numbers and all that. I mean, from what I've heard of this Colgan person from the cult, and is it Leon, that young man who you took in?
Yeah, Leon.
hopefully that is enough of a sign that things can change for the better. But I also don't blame people for resenting humans. Although, if I can be honest, the only people who are really still alive from that time are more of the long-lived races.
Hi.
Again, yeah, like elves, dwarves, tritons. And, while those races definitely occupy a large number of the population, there's also an entire generation of those same people who have been born since then, who haven't actually been under that thumb. That's not to say that what the humans did wasn't disgusting or reprehensible, of course, but I mean, we aren't our parents, we aren't our grandparents.
I mean, if you think about it, none of the humans currently alive were likely part of the war either, considering the lifespan of their race. They were just born into, wow, certainly estrangement, if not outright, discrimination.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying we should forgive, the members of the Cult of the Trask who've been actively taking part or anything, but certainly I can't, as you said, I can't blame, some of the humans for just, grouping together like that.
And what are your thoughts on it? He asks the rest of you. You don't have to necessarily give an answer. This is a very heavy topic.
It's not something that's easy to reckon with either.
Yeah, out of character, Seamus is usually no thoughts head empty with this kind of stuff.
You should be some thoughts head only somewhat empty. I'm just kidding.
I will say, this is one of those moments where the sins of the father are starting to become the sins of the son. And there is a point at which the cycle needs to stop, and we're at a point at which, as you said, it is very clear, it is starting to become the actions of the longer-lived races that are perpetuating the cycle.
To be fair, it also doesn't help that,
There's a giant cult out there that is trying to...
Yeah. Personally...
No. No, I'm agreeing with you.
My opinion, as someone who has been under some sort of oppression, as I mentioned, the people at the very top at minimum should be held responsible. Whether that means they are serving for life or execution. I don't want to say an example must be made, but people must be held responsible for what has happened. And these are people who are in leadership positions within the cult, who are actively choosing to continue what is going on. Also, some of these people are also kidnapping and experimenting on innocent people. Which also cannot be, ignored. That isn't to say that it's... A long discussion will need to be had, regardless of what happens. Again, whether the cult is, completely destroyed... Well, I think by the end of this, the cult has to be non-existent.
There's
Yes.
just a world in which the cult stays.
The only way the cult should remain is if it is a tiny fragment of the human population. However, as it is, the known majority of humans are in this cult, whether they are active participants or people who happen to have been born in that environment. A long, nuanced discussion must be had, not only amongst the world leaders, but just amongst everyone. Civilians, their people. It's going to be a long process that I cannot imagine will be an immediate fix, nor an easy
No.
one.
So just thinking about it for a second, I know like regicide is straight execution, but what's the penalty for taking an arm? Like 20 years prison?
Ruben chimes in because he's been pretty quiet and just says, I mean, we don't have an actual law on regicide in Centralis. My dad got rid of that shit because, like, he just categorized it under murder. If it is a murder and not, just a killing. I personally don't really care about my arm. I mean, my arm being cut off is bad, obviously, and I don't like that it got cut off.
Can't imagine anyone would like it getting cut off, personally.
It ultimately depends on if, well, because Colgan was the one who cut my arm off. It kind of depends on if he can be redeemed or not.
Well, he seemed nice enough thus far, arm cutting off aside.
He still is ultimately a general within the cult.
For now.
High rank.
There's also the question of what qualifies as redemption.
I mean, in my opinion, and he does a gesture as if to emphasize his point, in my perfect world of this, what will happen, Colgan will need to serve some time. Regardless of my biases and opinions, he will need to serve some time because of his leadership position within the cult, regardless of him being young, relative,
Maybe he can help rebuild the prison after it was mysteriously burned down.
But regardless,
Really making this Sisyphean out there.
Ultimately, even if he does a full turn and helps us dismantle the cult, he will still need to very likely serve time in prison. Not only for the stuff he has done, but also to very likely appease the people who have suffered as a result of the cult. I mean, thankfully, Colin is a drastically more reasonable member compared to, say, Aldane's uncle.
Yes, Uncle Shitbag.
And the actual
That is
leader
his official name.
and the actual leader of the cult as a whole will definitely need to, at best, serve life in prison. The humans will need to show what would be the consequences of this continuing, and just because of the crimes he himself has committed and propagated by being the leader of the cult as a whole.
Out of character, is there an in-universe equivalent of The Hague?
The what?
The Hague. The place where war crimes get tried.
That would be the neutral point.
Cool, just checking.
Because it was where the summit was dealt with for, like, what's roughly going to happen with the Dracolich pieces. As an example.
Yes.
But yeah, and then Marua continues and says, again, that's me trying to be as objective as possible, not only as a traveler and an adventurer, but also a person. This isn't even me necessarily coming across as the King of Cordis. As the King, I do also have to consider the people, again, who have suffered as a result of the cult. and all of that other stuff. I mean, ultimately, he gestures to Prody. Prody's literally going to be the only person not in this room who probably won't be in those talks. Although no, if Prody's going to be part of an orc clan and will have his own effective sovereign land, yeah, you will also be involved. And you just watch as Prody's shoulders sag as he sighs. Fair enough, if I must.
Uneasy is the head on which the crown rests.
But yes, again, like Drik said, we'll all have to be involved in talks about this. This isn't an easy process. Best case scenario, I would like to be that the cult can be dismantled, humans will be integrated into society, and this will be a learning experience for everyone that this cannot be allowed to happen. I mean, that's also partly why, every country was made sure that it can't be led by, the same race in multiple countries to kind of prevent a conflict of interest. I mean, that doesn't necessarily stop factions of people from doing something like the cult did, as Rue gestures to Drik, as Drik has, explained and has, people who know their history of Colonia Pol would know anyway. It's not as if it was only one race that, turned the country into another dictatorship.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think I've said before, but I intend to abdicate the throne anyway once this is done with. Because I don't think...
I believe that came up once or twice.
I
Really,
don't think
I
don't think monarchies are necessarily a problem. I just want to have a life after this is done with, and I don't necessarily believe I'm someone who can be a good long-term leader. I don't have the stomach for it, nor the desire. And I'd rather let people who have the capacity to lead do so.
Felix just leans over to Aldane. Do you have to have some kind of special stomach to lead?
No.
I thought we all had the same stomach.
It's a metaphorical stomach in the sense of the willingness and resolve.
I didn't think willingness and resolve came from the stomach.
It's a metaphor, Felix.
Again, it's metaphorical, you pleb.
A meta for what?
Rue just pulls out his gun. Just it's like Seamus and Prody's holding him back.
No, he didn't mean it. He didn't mean it.
Be cool.
But no. Jokes aside, though, it's, again, very heavy topic. No easy way to go about this all. But, the main focus will be is probably, also just potentially dealing with that fucking Tarask.
Yeah, that fucking thing.
Hopefully it doesn't awaken. Or if it does,
Please don't speak that into possibility.
I'm just preparing for the not the inevitable, but the potential.
Maybe one of us should start practicing our lullabies, in the worst case scenario. That seems to be up your alley, Seamus.
I mean, yeah, Seamus is the singer.
And very good at sending people to sleep with his music.
But what if the Tarask becomes a, creepy fan?
Yeah, that would be a little bit...
It's doing it again.
It's doing it again.
It's happening again.
What the hell?
What the fuck?
What?
Are you genuinely not
Mike.
doing anything?
No. Is my voice higher pitched or something?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, it is.
I cast reascend your testicles.
This is just too funny. I'm sorry, Dylan.
Dylan, say a few things.
A few things.
Oh my god. Okay. So I guess
Seamus has just been
Is it-
inhaling balloons in the corner throughout this entire conversation.
where did you even get
Wait,
those balloons?
is my voice still like high pitched?
Yes!
Yes.
That's why we're pissing ourselves laughing.
This is crazy work.
Dylan?
Is that any better?
No.
Jack's gonna die.
This is the
That's
hardest
too
I've
funny.
heard Jack laugh.
Yeah,
Okay, how is that?
that's
Much
better.
Okay, your voice is normal again.
Yeah.
Okay, back to normal.
You might need a new mic.
Y'all are. I might need a new headset. I've had this thing for like, I don't know, 5 years or so, 4 years.
So, and before Dylan's voice goes again, because I know he is on a timer. Unless you have anything else like you actually want to ask Drik, we can always move on to the next day for you on your way to head out.
Why do
Let me just-
Colonia pole loaves cut into 5 pieces, but everywhere else cuts into 6?
Couldn't tell you.
What's this joke that I'm not getting?
I'm asking an inane question.
Alright. It's roughly 240
It's-
miles.
It's technically a
ten-
reference to another series that I had to
Ten-
like modernify.
Right. So, yes. So, I'm just going to say we're moving on to the next day unless anything else wants to be said or done.
Nope.
You all get a long rest. You all sleep. When you actually head, as you are led to the gates by what you now know is one of Drik's nieces, Drik is also there to meet you, and he gives you all a firm handshake and just says that, I wish you nothing but the best of luck. He also hands you all this badge. It's of a dagger that looks like blood is dripping from the blade. This is the seal, actually, of the Colonia Pole Resistance. If you show the orcs this, they should at least be willing to have an accord with you. Other than that, honestly, just good luck. The transportation you've got, let me just check the actual creature this time, because now we need to make a roll. Because this isn't a frost salamander this time. Where are they? Here we go. I was like, oh yeah, bandit captain. Just being pulled by bandit captains. These people are doing community service, as you can tell. What was it now? Okay, this time, it's actually being pulled by a mammoth.
Ooh.
Give me a perception check, actually, as you look at this mammoth, because Rue is going to.
go.
It's actually the mammoth that Rua resurrected.
Oh,
Ooh.
neat.
Way back when you were heading to the Forbidden Ice.
Hmm.
It's it actually looks somewhat happy to see you guys. The cart in question is actually quite big because a mammoth is a huge creature. There's actually like enough space to not walk around a lot, but it's like pretty cozy inside.
Hmm.
There is space for 2 people to sort of help manage the mammoth, and for Darren and Seamus to ride at the front. But Drik explains to you the mammoth's been pretty well trained, so as long as even someone is riding at the front, it isn't a problem. But he does recommend if 2 of you can be at the front for the sake of, being lookouts.
Mm-hmm.
Because as he explains, like, as you get closer to the mountains, the snow will very likely get more dense, and, you'll need to be making sure that you can see as best as you can.
Hmm.
Yes, if Gen and Seamus, can you do your what's the word? Your relative checks for this mammoth? Land vehicles and handle animals? Damn. So the mammoth is very happy to actually take you along. And as a result, you will suffer no negative penalties when it comes to maneuvering through for at least the first 2 days of travel. And so, as you head off to the Forbidden Ice, I think it's fine to call the session here.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Next session will be a combat session. At least one combat, I promise you.
Okay. I will
At
say
least 2 star spawn enemies.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Oh no. Maybe not that.
My parents are coming to town next week, so that is a thing.
I mean, they can join in if you want.
Yeah, These are people who you absolutely would believe that D&D is Satanic Panic.
Even better.
What could possibly go wrong?
Do we think it'd be funnier or funnier than, Seamus's voice going up to like fucking falsetto
Soprano.
levels? Yeah.
Oh.
Seamus the alto. Kick him in the
soprano.
Kick him in the testicles hard enough.
Test him in the kickicles.
Well, oh no, I actually no, because I joked saying that they reascended. So, but yes, this is the end of the session. Yeah, I mean, I'm just glad we've been doing a session again because I've missed this.
D&D is in fact fun.
Even when it's a 7-hour-long PvP session, D&D is still pretty fun.
I'm not joking. I would be like, we need to do this later. I would be falling asleep.
The issue is that there were people there. One of the people who was alive until like the final 3 had fucking flown in from like down south to be here. It's like, I can't afford
Right.
another plane ride soon, so
Fair enough, honestly.
so yeah, we had to finish it in one.
One single long take.
Yeah. I mean, we got to turn 20, so the fight overall took 2 minutes.
Fucking wild ass power scaling right there.
Eat your heart out, fucking Dragon Ball Super Tournament of Power.
Goddamn.
But yes, that is everything for the stream as well. So thank you everybody for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed. In terms of future stuff, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Please do give us a follow here on Twitch and all that YouTube stuff.
Like and subscribe, leave a comment down below, and please press that bell icon, yo.
And otherwise, hopefully we'll see you on Tuesday. Good night.
Later.
All right.